up, everybody? Welcome to the Taylor Times. Today we have an update on Grand Teton National Park. I am Michael Taylor. This is my wife, Devin Taylor. And we'll jump right in.
All right. So we went to Grand Teton National Park in 2020. There is a video for that somewhere up here. And we went there haphazardly after having to be detoured because of a fire in Yellowstone. So we were visiting Yellowstone.
Right.
Didn't even know Grand Teton National Park was like there, like literally adjacent.
Right next door.
So we ended up having to take a detour, which took us through the park, and it was just insanely beautiful, and it was great. So it's a video on that. But this time we intentionally visited Grand Teton National Park before Yellowstone on our way to Alaska, and so we're just going to give you some updated information on Grand Teton National Park. So let's talk about getting there first.
Yeah, so getting there, it was, what was it, the end of April? Beginning of May.
Yeah, no, it was May.
It was the beginning of May.
Yeah.
And so getting from Tennessee to Wyoming was not bad. It's Grand Teton, Wyoming.
I think it's
Wyoming.
No, is it?
We'll figure it out. Well, it's not on there.
It's literally
this
not
stuff
on
runs
this map.
together
Oh,
after a
it's Wyoming. Oh no, wait, that's Yellowstone National Park.
I'm
Anyway,
pretty
go
sure
ahead.
It's Wyoming. If not, we'll correct it.
Yep.
But so getting there, it was nice. It was beautiful, but it wasn't snowing until we got to Wyoming, and probably about 30 minutes away from Grand Teton National Park, we started going up, and it started looking like Christmas time as we're going up this mountain.
It's beautiful.
I can't remember the name of the mountain, but like I said, it's in that adjacent area.
And it was
right
on
past the
is
border.
this highway?
Highway 26, U.S. Highway 26 and 287.
That's where we were.
In that general vicinity. And I'm talking about it just started snowing as soon as we started going up. So I was like, oh Lord. And this is middle of May, or the beginning of May. And so we're not used to that type of thing at that particular season. So it got sketchy, towing 20,000 pounds. You know, you guys seen the trailer, it's a pretty big one. So we didn't want to start sliding backwards or going, uncontrollably downwards in any fashion. So just be careful if you go anytime. I'd say probably December through
May.
Pretty much May 1st.
Right, because the whole time we were there, it was still snowing up that mountain. And it wasn't like, it just started snowing. The snow was like shoveled on the sides of the road, and it was taller than me.
Than the truck.
And I got my legs stuck in the snow.
And she panicked. She freaked out. It was like she was right there by the street, and she was just freaking out.
Yeah, I don't like to be stuck in things. So, but it's like to your knee. And so the snow was deep, which means it had been snowing, and it just snows up there like all the time. So once we got to the bottom of that mountain, getting into near where we're going to be like going towards Grand Teton National Park, that's where the campground was. Once we got down, yes, that's what it was. Once we got down the mountain, it was not snowing, and temperature difference of maybe 10 degrees or so. I don't know, but it was significant. And right as we came down, that's where our campground was. We stayed at Hatchet Campground, which is in the Teton National Forest. It is a National Forest campground. And at that time, it was free, which it is until the season starts. And then they start making you pay with the honor system and the envelopes.
Yeah,
so we stayed
May
there.
May 15th is when that starts happening. Yeah. So May through probably like middle of September. Like Labor Day.
Yep. You can
most of these
stay.
Places in the West.
Right. And the campground, if you're going to be checking that particular one out, or any National Forest campground, if you don't know what you're getting into, try to scout ahead. The first couple of spots were great for rigs that are bigger. And as you went in the loop more, smaller rigs only. But the good thing about this is it had an overflow parking lot where you could park any size rig if you couldn't get a spot. And so that's good if you just needed to camp there. That's a rare thing. You're not going to find that at many National Forest campgrounds. But we had the first spot off as soon as you turned in, and it was perfect.
Yep. So next on the list is the animals. So we saw a coyote.
This was on Mother's Day, so let's just set the scene. It's Mother's Day, and Michael's like, what do you want to do for Mother's Day?
Like, it was fine. It was a little overcast, and then it started raining, or it's not.
It started snowing, but it was like the hard,
pellets.
Poke your eye out, snow.
Yeah. And in the middle of that, I see this coyote cross the street, and then he digs at the ground a little bit, and then comes up with something in his mouth, and we think it's a little pika. We'll show a little picture of what a pika looks like, but I mean, he had it, and then he just swallowed it, one shot,
devoured
and then
it.
kept it moving.
So about how many feet away from us? We had turned into the national park.
15 feet away.
Like very close.
At the max. It was absolutely insane. So it was the circle of life just that fast. And we had just entered the park. So we were coming to the first pullout. And that was amazing.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
A ton of elk there. And in this particular season, the bears are coming out of hibernation, the grizzlies. So we saw quite a few grizzlies as well as their baby cubs.
So cute.
So that was pretty cool.
Lots of mama G's and babies of different sizes, but lots of them. And this is not just in the national forest. Right down the street from the campground on that same mountain, we went up there one day, and it was just a mama and two cubs just grazing on the hillside, and it was just like right there in your face.
And don't get too close to these bears. They're wild animals.
And they got these babies?
Yeah, and mama grizzlies they've been known to kill people, so be careful. Don't be stupid.
We did not get out of the vehicle. We pulled over to look and then used the binoculars as well. And with the binoculars from that distance, because it was relatively not far off the hill, you could see the features of the bear's face, and it was just like it was crazy. It's like you see it on TV, but to see it like firsthand, it was amazing. And it took me a while. Even when I got back to the camper, me and Evan, we were like, we just saw that like out in the wild, not in the national park or not in a zoo, just like right there.
Yeah, so Grand Teton is a beautiful place. I definitely suggest going.
We have hiked. Talk about the hikes.
They have hikes. If you go hiking in the west, you need to have a bell. They call them bear bells, and that just notifies the bear. It's either a dental bell or notifying the bear that hey, something's around. Because it's usually not a problem with the bears unless you surprise them. And then
that's why you want to make noise.
Defend their territory.
Yeah.
So if you carry bear spray, that's good. If you carry something that has a little more punch, that's fine too if you're comfortable with that. Just follow your state and local laws.
Know what's legal to do
before you go.
Yeah, but definitely have your bear spray and making noise on the trail. A lot of people hike and the kids are noisy, and you're like, shh. Yeah, you do have to take time to be quiet and kind of listen. We'll talk about that as to why that's important. But at the same time, after you're done listening, make noise, talk loud, because that lets the bears know that you're coming, and they really don't want any problems.
Right. And another thing we're going to touch on real quick is groceries. So there was one grocery store, and I believe it was by the Lawrence S. Rockefeller Preserve. So it's in that general area. Reasonable prices for what
and there's nothing else around.
So go prepared. When you go out west, you need to be prepared with your own supplies, food, and water. So, and especially if you have kids, we're traveling with 2 young boys.
Yeah.
They always want a snack or some mess like that. So you need to make sure that you come prepared, and that you yourself as the authority in this situation are, fed and hydrated and all that, so that you could take care of your children during an emergency situation, which we'll try to do another video on one of these days.
And lastly, make sure you stop by the Craig Thomas Discovery and Visitor Center. This Visitor Center is cool because it has like a little museum adjacent to it where you can see lots of information about the indigenous people and just like moose statues and life-size moose statues. You can see other stuffed animals, a lot of animal facts, the rats from some of the animals too.
It was
like buying stuff in there. It was reasonable.
Versus the
Coulter Bay
Visitor Center. The Coulter Bay Visitor Center.
Very expensive.
Y'all need to do better.
Like match these prices.
Stop chopping heads. It's small behind Visitor Center, and you want to charge $100 and something for a daggum sweater. You need to do better. But go to the Craig Thomas Discovery Visitor Center. and they have reasonable prices. And
yep, and also don't forget your Junior Ranger books for the kids, and we like it for information for ourselves too.
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Ask
us questions if you got them, and we'll get back to you. We're right now out in the woods in Alaska, so it's hit or miss, but we're gonna try to get this up for you.
Yep. Stay tuned for pictures and videos to follow.
Word.
Bye.
Later.